Hello, welcome to Wake Up and Live with Bob. If this is your first time on my channel, please remember to subscribe, like, share, and tell someone about my videos. Several years ago, I was a medical professional, and I worked at a rehab and nursing home and a rehab, and we were in the hallway. A group of us were in the hallway discussing a certain patient's care plan, and I remember there was one of our fellow nurses came by, and she was obviously upset about something, and she waited around, and when there was an opportune time, she said what came out of her mouth was that Jamaicans believe that they're better than American blacks. And I was made so uncomfortable by that statement because this wasn't the first time she said that, and I was made really uncomfortable by it. So I managed to say to her, "That's not true, Brenda. You shouldn't say that." And she said, she was firm. She said, "Yes, because the white man treats Jamaicans differently and give them some favors, they feel better than American blacks." And I said to her, "But I don't think so. I mean, the white establishment in the United States decides that if you're 1% black, you are black. Even if you're 99% white and you're 1% black, if there's such a thing, you are black. So the idea is that we all are in this situation together as black people." She was very adamant, and went on, to push the conversation a little further, and said, you know, Jamaican blacks come here and get all the benefits of the country, and they did not fight for it in the civil rights, and did not suffer, and did not lose people, and were not lynched, and all of that stuff she went down the line with. And I again, I was still uncomfortable with it, but I moved further to say to her, "Brenda, that is not true. In fact, let me educate you a little bit. The story of the civil rights movement cannot, and I say cannot, could never be written without mentioning the contribution, the immense contribution of Jamaicans." I said the civil rights movement was actually born out of Marcus Garvey's pan-African movement. Every single leader in the early parts of the civil rights in the 40s and 50s and 60s will tell you that they are in some way, one way or the other, Garveyites, which means they follow the philosophy and teachings of Marcus Garvey. And that's who gave much of the civil rights movement the idea of lifting up black people out of the predicament that we were. She listened impatiently, but listened, and then she jumped and she said, "Marcus Garvey is not from Jamaica." When she said that, I realized that she was coming from a point of ignorance, and so I was not going to exploit her ignorance or add insult to injury. I just kindly educate her, let her know Marcus Garvey was born in the parish of St. Anne in Jamaica. He actually came here against his will, but came here through after being getting into trouble with the British. Jamaica was a British territory at the time, a British colony, and Garvey spent a great deal of his years before coming to the United States in South America, organizing labor unions for black people in South America, long before people even knew or was aware that there were actually black people in South America. All right. in most of the Latin America. But yes, he spent years organizing civil rights, um, labor unions, and civil rights movements in those regions for black people. Then he came here to Harlem, which lived in Harlem for X number of years, and established his Black Star Liner movement back to Africa, and all of those stuff things. All right. So, but I realized that she might have been sitting on this, on something that's bothering her for a long time. So I made it, as amicable as possible to educate her and explain to her. But the point I'm trying to make, and I'll end it with a question, and that is, do black people in the African diaspora, are they adequately aware of who they are in relation to the continent of Africa and the countries of which they are born? We are black people, doesn't matter where you come from, according to Peter Tosh. Uh, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you are an African. And so wherever you are in the world, your predicament is going to be the same if you are if you're black. Uh, yes, there are some black people who who consider themselves more or less of some sort of a hybrid black people, because the countries to which they're born are economically more advanced, or they're economically better off than some others. Yes, there are those black people, but essentially we are all the same when it boils down to the end game. We are seen as the same. So we should all bond together, understand our situation, and work together to lift the group out in the same way other groups lift themselves out. Do not divide us by trying to do this better than thing. All right. So again, Africans in the African diaspora, black people in the African diaspora around the world are to be more adequately aware of where they're from, and where they were born and who they are. All right. Thank you for watching. This is Wake Up and Live with Bob.